Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. You know the deal, I just woke up, just rolled out of bed, so if I sound a bit tired, it's because I just finished the whole sleeping thing. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. France, this is also very popular news. France is demonstrating, it says, its dedication to becoming a top choice for cryptocurrency companies seeking clear regulations by offering a welcoming environment for those fleeing uncertainty within the United States. If you've been here for, even like 3.5 weeks, you've seen that the large majority of companies within the cryptocurrency space have begun to lightly announce that they are leaving the United States and or making other branches that will no longer be allowed to anyone within the United States. Coinbase has said that they are going to be doing this. Binance has openly announced that they were thinking of slowing down Binance US and simply opening up in other places. Kraken, I think, has done the same, and the Gemini twins announced that they would be doing something in Ireland or something adjacent to that, but a lot of other companies who have not been able to get licenses, bit licenses, you name it, have been talking about moving overseas. And now France has kind of come forward, similar to Hong Kong, in announcing, hey, you can come over here and do all your business because we also have computers and the internet. Earlier today, a report from CoinDesk stated that a French regulator, particularly the Autorité des marchés des financiers, or the AMF, disclosed its open arms and invitation towards crypto companies looking to flee from their U.S. branch and relocate to other regions with clear regulations within the sector. As the European Union takes significant steps towards implementing the markets in crypto asset MiCA rules, France has positioned itself as a potential hub for crypto. There are a lot of countries who are currently trying to do this. I find it unfascinating that these countries have realized quite quickly that the United States has, I think the term would be dropped the ball, missed the ball. The ball flew by them when it comes to just giving proper cryptocurrency regulations. If you've seen one of my last two videos, they've hovered around the idea of the SEC. And Coinbase was sued by the SEC. Coinbase resued the SEC and basically was asking for clear cryptocurrency regulations within the course of a 10-day period. The SEC basically, and I mean in no uncertain terms, told Coinbase, no, we don't have to give you anything that you're asking for. Clear rules already exist, and that they would still, the SEC would still continue to rule by enforcement because they said that the rules are clear, but no one's following them. I don't know if they drank the Kool-Aid or what exactly is going on, why they don't understand that everyone's asking for something, but they refuse to give it. And the SEC also said that any regulations might take years. I'm not making any of this up. It sounds completely fake and weird, but this is what transpired over the last couple of days. So as such, other countries have now picked their head up. Germany did this at the beginning of the year. For those of you who don't remember it, Germany announced that companies would have like a tax break. There's also like already 0% tax rules within Germany for cryptocurrencies. And they stated that anyone who is staking cryptocurrency a year after staking your coins and you sell them, they have no taxes on top of them as well. We know that Portugal is tax-free for crypto. France is now entering the fray, you could kind of say. There was another country. I think Spain also tried to do something, but I think theirs was more like we have proper cryptocurrency regulations. And now the entirety of the EU is trying to make an umbrella, a blanket law that basically has to do with know your customer, anti-money laundering. So if money's moving around, they would all have access to the information the same exact way that they normally would within the banking system. And that's kind of basically what they're finalizing now. It says the country currently has 74 registered crypto companies. Oh, also there was, I think Hungary also has cryptocurrency law rules about money or something like that. And there was also, what was the other country? It wasn't Albania. There's something in Eastern Europe that also, they announced for the first 5 years of a company going there, they would have 0% taxes. And also, they also have clear cryptocurrency regulations. You would assume that the monetary leader of the world would have had them by now, but Alas, here we are. France currently has 74 registered crypto companies, which is expected to rise to about 100 as more firms anticipate the implementation of the EU's comprehensive regulatory framework, according to several analysts. This framework is designed to provide a robust and standardized set of rules for crypto assets, ensuring greater investor protection and market integrity. France's notable advantage is its defined Crypto Service Asset Provider Regime, or PSAN. Introduced in 2019, the PSAN legislation provides clear guidelines and regulations for crypto businesses, fostering an environment of transparency and stability. 2019. So anyway, this was actually, you would, not assume, but this was actually very popular news. A lot of people were talking about it, and I think it just seems, I'm glad that they also got there, as in the other companies. I've been saying this for years. It doesn't make a lot of sense that you would be in a country that continues to treat you wrong every single day these companies have been asking for nothing. If you want to be completely realistic, these companies could have gone completely rogue, made some type of really crazy blockchain that had private transactions, and the US could be in complete chaos right now with people literally just using these cryptocurrencies and not even the US dollar. These companies came forward and were like, hey, regulate us. Please let us know exactly what we have to do, how we have to do it, when and where, so that we can make sure that we are complying in every single possible way. And that was since 2014, and then more so in 2017, and that was 6 years ago and still nothing. So anyway, I'm not sure if this is going to work out. I feel like they're sticking their heads out a little bit too much. I poked around very easily, and apparently the crypto taxes within France are 30%. That's not that amazing, and I don't think that many people are going to be going for that, as there are many other places that do have 0% crypto taxes. But, France is a place to go to if you are already rich. Not if you are trying to become rich, just for those of you who don't know that. That's the companies fleeing the U.S. news. And yeah, let's move on. In even more popular news, fintech firm Ripple is launching a tailored platform for central bank digital currencies. This unique platform, which is based on the XRP ledger, aims to empower central banks, governments, and financial institutions to create and manage their own currencies. So for those of you who don't know the legend of Ripple, back in 2017, their main idea was that they were a company that was meant to help banks find a way to enter the digital world without having to create a digital world themselves, i.e., we, Ripple, the company, have a system and therefore you can use it. And they did fairly well until the SEC, did what they did back in good old 2020 and all the other mess that came with it. But beside the nonsense that was happening and still happening within the United States, Ripple managed to expand quite rapidly across other parts of the world, parts of Latin America. They're doing business in Africa, for those of you who missed the video. A couple of days ago, they're apparently doing business in 16 different countries within Africa, which I had assumed would alone logically have risen the price of XRP. But, a lot of people don't think these days. And then we also got news that they are apparently working already with over a dozen banks, which has always been kind of the whoa, when are they going to start actually working with banks? Because as of now, much of the news that we heard is that XRP, the coin, was being used for cross-border payments within institutions. So they've basically done nearly everything that they said that they were going to do back in 2017, despite the lawsuit. However, now they have announced their main ultimate goal the entire time was they realized that at some point governments and banks were going to try to create central bank digital currencies. They didn't have a name back then. We weren't calling them CBDCs. It was simply like bank coins, or, JP Morgan literally tried to make a coin that was called JP Morgan coin. You can look it up. And as such, their new platform that they've created, as they have been working with the International Monetary Fund, we saw them on stage a couple of weeks ago, and the World Bank and yada yada, is this new platform will allow governments to not have to create their own central bank digital currency or create a whole new system. They can simply do it on top of the XRP blockchain, and it'll be far easier for them. Ripple's novel central bank digital currency platform equips these institutions with the ability to oversee the full life cycle of a central bank digital currency, an encompassing process that includes minting, distribution, redemption, and even the destruction of the digital tokens. Moreover, the platform offers financial institutions the opportunity to handle and engage in inter-institutional settlement and distribution procedures using the central bank digital currencies. The most important part, blah, blah, blah. As part of its move to prove the viability and utility of the platform, Ripple has partnered with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Does that sound familiar? They're the Hong Kong Central Bank. Why is this important? Because we heard at the beginning of January that Hong Kong was looking to enter the cryptocurrency space full force. They announced in January that by June, it's almost June, that they would have comprehensive cryptocurrency regulations within the country and were aiming to basically become the leader in the cryptocurrency space. For those of you who don't know, Hong Kong is a wealthy paradise, full of a lot of money. A lot of people do business there. I'm not sure exactly how their tax structure looks or how low the taxes might be, but one can assume with all the millionaires and billionaires on this small piece of land that they're probably doing something right, air quotes, what have you there. So the news ties into the fact that the people from Hong Kong have announced that they are going to when they have these regulations, there are already tons of companies who are planning on doing business there. I have a friend who is working on a number of projects right now. I don't think he's watching, but I'm waving to him. He can't even see that. And he says he's also been making friends in Hong Kong as well for the launch of these projects and to have things translated into Mandarin and Cantonese and things like that so that people can have wider access to it over there. It's a whole thing that's going on. So this is actually quite spectacular news, and I was very shocked to find that other people also thought the exact same thing. Sometimes we find really intense news that a company or a coin or a blockchain is going to be doing something or used in some sort of way, and people tend to go, well, the price isn't moving, and it's like, well, you need to pay attention to the actual news that's going on. And the idea that this company was battered and had things thrown at them for a number of years by 60-70% of people within the cryptocurrency space, and now they've partnered with multiple central banks, one of which is allegedly going to be putting their central bank digital currency on top of the XRP ledger. If that doesn't sound significant to you, I think you're in the wrong space. I think you might need to relearn how the world works. Because if you had told anyone back in 2017 that the XRP blockchain was going to be used by multiple different central banks and dozens of companies, and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority's central bank, the Hong Kong dollar pilot program, people would have completely lost their minds. Maybe people are just very jaded now within the cryptocurrency space. I can also definitely see that as well. Yes. Extremely popular news. Ripple launches a central bank digital currency platform for the development of central bank digital currencies and stablecoins. A lot of companies and some countries have used the terminology stablecoins in that they have hinted that they would rather simply create a stablecoin that is based off of the value or the one-to-one of their current paper currency. So some of them are also doing that as well. This also doesn't stop other companies from creating new stable coins on top of it. Further, that is to say, the XRP blockchain, further increasing the value of the blockchain. The more coins you have on top of it, the higher it actually ends up being valued. This is why we see Ethereum being valued so high, because it has hundreds of projects on top of it. Ripple unveils central bank digital currency platform, enabling governments to issue digital currencies. Ripple starts platform for central banks to issue their coins. I think the only way that this would actually make it into the American spotlight, forgive me, is if there was an announcement that the US was issuing one on top of this as well. I'm not sure how the US has an enormous amount of people who are into the cryptocurrency space who don't pay attention to any news unless it pertains to stuff happening within the United States. You know, there are over 190 other countries around the world. And the fact that even a lot of people who are into XRP within the US, I see on Twitter a lot of times there'll be really good news, like, you know, Ripple working with 16 different countries in Africa who are poised to literally, like, they're looking for coins to use and buy and hold and accumulate. And that's 16 extra countries who could have their citizens be like, I need to accumulate more XRP because my government's using it or this company's using it. Nope, not even a drop in the water as far as excitement or whatever. I once again, I'm a firm believer that people will learn when it's too late. People will look back and say, oh my gosh, of course, they partnered with 16 countries. Wait, the Hong Kong Central Bank was using XRP the whole time, and that's kind of where it ends up getting picked up. Of course, without missing a beat, a number of people who have nothing better to do with their lives, and I don't know why. If you are able to do so and you have nothing else to do, go outside, go for a walk, maybe even just open a window, get some fresh air. If you haven't tried traveling, you know, because we can travel again now, book a trip somewhere, go to a beach, go to the state or city next to you, just do something else different with your life, because the point of you sitting on Twitter and making sure that you try and spread constant negativity around a project that you claim you don't like or you don't own is just absolutely ridiculous at this point. It's the same exact thing with what's the gold guy name? Peter? Is it Peter Schiff? I don't know. There's like 9 Peters within the cryptocurrency space. The guy who says he hates Bitcoin, if you read this guy's tweets, he tweets about 15 times a day just about Bitcoin. It is the oddest thing in the entire world. For those of you who don't know this guy, he started popping up around 2016 saying that gold would rise more than Bitcoin, that gold was going to go to $10,000, $15,000 an ounce. And then Bitcoin went to 20,000 and he was like, well, it's going to come back down and gold's going to take its place. None of that has happened. Gold is still, I think, 4% higher than it was 7 years ago. And Bitcoin has risen by over 1,000,000% since its inception. All he does is write about Bitcoin nonstop all day. And it's like, I don't know how you got so obsessed. Just go buy some. You know, that's kind of the idea. So a lot of people, upon seeing that, Ripple had partnered with the Central Bank of Hong Kong and had launched this new platform and program that will allow central banks around the world to issue their coins on top of the XRP blockchain. People began to say, well, I don't see the word XRP anywhere. You can't use XRP. They're going to be using the blockchain, not XRP. And I know someone who owns XRP and is into the space. Just did a bit of a forehead slap. Yeah, I know, once again. So for those of you who missed it, back in good old like 2018, 2019, Ripple announced that they basically were merging all of their projects into, because they had so many different ones. They had Ripple X, Ripple Y. I mean, you name it. They had so many different things. They smashed them all together. And basically, if you are using what was previously known as X Rapid, now is known as ODL, or anything that has to do with their blockchain, XRP is still being used in the background to have the finality of the transaction. So anyone who posts or does anything on top of it, XRP is still being burned from the transaction. Therefore, XRP is still being used. And the CTO of Ripple had to once again come forward and tell everyone, nope, stop listening to the lies from people who have nothing better to do with. I'm telling you, traveling is great. Like, just go do it. Just go outside, go do it. Like, go for like a good 3-hour walk. You'll be like, whoa, why was I posting so many negative things on Twitter when I had so many other things to do with my life? I don't know why you are so fascinated with making sure that negativity spreads as opposed to making sure that you become rich during the next bull run. But alas, here we are. So yeah, the Ripple CTO had to come forward and say, no, XRP is also there. News. So cool. Good job, Ripple. Like, actually, louder than a golf clap. Simply because everything that they said that they were going to do, they've still done. They haven't shied away like the people from EOS who no longer give updates on anything, despite talking about last year that they were going to relaunch the EOS project with the $4 billion that they have. Ripple has chugged along. They're working with multiple companies, multiple banks, countries, you name it. So cool. I think the future is quite bright for them. It's just a matter of, the SEC disappearing into a puff of smoke at this point, something Harry Potter-esque, because they're not doing anyone any good. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's move on. Also, in lightly popular news, Binance will apparently be withdrawing from the Canadian market. The cryptocurrency exchange announced on Twitter. It called its withdrawal proactive, as new guidance issued by Canadian regulators continue to take a toll on the country's crypto industry. A bit of a foreword out there. For those of you who don't know or are unaware, Canada and the United Kingdom are basically smaller versions of the US. Now, that sounds like a joke, but it's actually not. And it usually tends to follow like monetary policies, and I'm not really sure why this has become more of a thing over the last couple of years. Maybe there's some type of Game of Thrones things happening behind the scenes that we simply can't see. But a lot of times the UK and Canada have themselves poised to actually control financial markets and or get a leg up on it. But a lot of times they tend to simply mimic what the United States is doing, and it only actually harms, I don't want to say harms consumers, but it harms the economy that could have grown more if they gave more favorable regulation when it comes to a lot of different things. This is apparent in what Canada has been doing over the last couple of months, making things more stringent and more tight. This is, for those of you who don't remember within the UK, where anytime that a cryptocurrency company was advertising, they were getting in trouble. Anytime that someone advertised on a bus or on a train or anywhere in public, they were told by UK finance ministers, you can't do this because cryptocurrencies are, it's like all these kind of things, like these laws that in these instances that don't exist in other places. Or if you want to do work within the United Kingdom on crypto, you have to file, 35 different pages of paperwork. And this is why we're seeing a lot of cryptocurrency companies not going to England, but they're going to Ireland. For those of you who don't know the geography, Ireland is part of the European Union. So they have like a tether to them, to mainland Europe, and they are using the euro. This is why we see a lot of companies going to Ireland, because it is the European Union, but they speak English. So if you are an American company looking to flee, or a Canadian company looking to flee to get European rules and regulations, which are very clear and defined, but don't want to learn a new language, you go to Ireland. See, that's the entire idea behind it. But for some reason, Canada has been making sure that they are pushing out as many companies as possible. And it's not like Canada, this is not me being mean, I'm here. Canada doesn't really have a lot going for it. There are a lot of countries around the world who economically could be doing better, and they pretend like people are falling over themselves to go to said country and or region. And it's like, you actually don't have anything to offer other than the fact that you at one point had lower taxes and had relatively inexpensive real estate. And now that you have neither of those, why would I continue doing business within your country? Binance is joining some of its smaller competitors in the Canadian exodus, brought on by the introduction of rules by the Canadian Securities Administration, or the CSA, on the 22nd of February that required them to file new pre-registration undertakings and adhere to added restrictions. If I was the SEC of Canada, I'm not. I would make sure, I would literally stand on top of a mountain, look over the border, and I would see the amount of people rushing to come to Canada to do business. And I would say, hey, let's make sure that our regulations are not only firm, but, we actually give them regulations, unlike the SEC. Why? Because if you have all these companies rushing to your borders who could potentially be injecting billions of dollars from paying taxes on a yearly basis, you want them to be there. Why? So that you can use that money to rebuild your roads and build schools and healthcare and all these other things that human beings need. But nope, CSA was like, wait, we're going to make it even more difficult for you because we also have nothing better to do with our time. Although Binance had reportedly filed a new pre-registration undertaking, it explained in a tweet, unfortunately, New guidance related to stablecoins and investor limits provided to crypto exchanges makes the Canadian market no longer tenable for Binance at this time. The new CSA rules prohibit firms from permitting Canadian clients to enter into a crypto contract to buy and sell any crypto asset that is itself a security and or a derivative, and define stablecoins as a security as well. Why would you do this? Why would you make sure that you lose money, that you're losing tax money that would help fund your system? Because all you're doing is sending people to Portugal, to France, to Germany, Eastern Europe, to Hong Kong. I want to understand so bad, and I assume this has to do with the SEC or some type of a historically, if you've ever watched the news, I mean, it's been years. As far as there's always a bit of a link. If the US does something, Canada usually announces that they're going to be doing something similar. I assume there's some type of weird symbiotic relationship, once again, that we don't know about, but that is definitely there. So a lot of, I think Coinbase also announced it as well. Theirs wasn't as intense as Binance, but Coinbase also said that they're also going to be backing out of the Canadian market as well. And yeah, so I would say it's a shame, but it's more of a just logic. Take the money that the US doesn't want. Make sure that you have proper. What exactly are you defining as a security? For those of you who also don't know, the European Union, like 3 years ago, basically announced that many cryptocurrencies are actually currencies and or property, and there's no even a title of a security there. They are not legal tender in that they are not issued by a country, but they are deemed as property, and in many cases even like collectibles and stuff like that for taxation purposes. And this is why many European countries have a 0% tax rate, because they're taxed as property or they're taxed as collectibles. And when you sell that collectible or that property or that other item or currency that you are holding for over a year, you have a 0% tax rate. Why is that so difficult for everyone else to do that? Why make sure that money leaves your borders? Anyway, that's the largest crypto exchange on the planet is going to be leaving the Canadian market because, like, literal logic. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Also yay, can't wait for it. Ethereum developers are planning the next major, super awesome, gigantic upgrade to the blockchain, and they're calling it Dencun. I know it sounds terrible, which will involve two simultaneous upgrades known as Cancun and Deneb. Why they keep doing this, I don't know. Ethereum has a very, very strong history of naming their upgrades after places, but when you merge the words together, they sound gross in some sort of way. Ethereum developers are testing out other proposals that could make it into the next hard fork. They're aiming to push the Dencun, live in the second half of this year, marking a significant milestone in the evolution of the Ethereum blockchain. The upgrade is expected to bring about improvements in terms of scalability, efficiency, and security, making the Ethereum network more robust and capable of handling higher transaction volumes. Now, and I say this in the nicest way, no one cares, and no one is going to care, simply because we've been hearing about this for so long. The history and the saga of Ethereum has always been, by 2017, Ethereum's going to have 10,000 transactions per second. By the year 2020, we're looking at 1 million transactions per second for Ethereum. The upgrades that anyone actually cared about was staking, and proof of stake and staking. The going over to a POS network and also being able to make passive income. After that, no one really, it's not that people don't care. It's more of a, once again, it's kind of like, imagine every morning I wake you up and tell you that we're going to Disneyland. Every single day, 2017, January 1st, I tell you every single day. By the time we get to the near the end of May 2023, And I'm like, guess what tomorrow is? You're like, oh, okay, cool. And you walk out of the room. You don't even let me finish my sentence. It's kind of one of those things. You can't keep saying that you're going to do something over and over and over and then just don't actually end up doing it or what have you. So this upgrade is allegedly supposed to make Ethereum more efficient, more secure in ways that, unforeseen that we've never thought that could possibly be possible. But it's also putting us on the path to getting to the 1,000, 10,000 million transactions per second. And I don't think that people will care until an hour after the upgrade has actually happened. I.e., you can say whatever you want until this upgrade is actually going to happen. You can even say it's going to happen in the second half of this year. That's wonderful. But until an hour after that upgrade has happened, people see A, the blockchain hasn't broken, and B, their transaction went through instantaneously and the fee was 1 cent, and they go and check online how many transactions per second on the actual blockchain explorer, and it says that there are 7,000, like easily, as opposed to the current 15 to 18 that we have, then people will care. Ethereum is the largest blockchain. It is the most used blockchain on the planet right now, thanks to a number of other layered solutions on top of Ethereum, such as Polygon. But cool. I don't think this one will have anywhere near the amount of hype that we have had for the last 2 upgrades. I think this will be oh, cool, it happened. And then the next day people will go, okay, something actually took place. It actually changed. Because a lot of different, finishing the thought, a lot of different chains always have upgrades, and they always say that it has to do with scalability. But it's like allowing other platforms to then reside on top of them to give them extra scalability as opposed to just doing the actual chain itself. We don't want any more layer 2 solutions. We don't want any other chains or side chains or things hanging from. No, we want the core to upgrade itself so that we know that Ethereum itself, I don't have to go into liquid ether. I don't have to go into Polygon. I don't have to swap something else to be able to swap my ether back to have a quicker, faster transaction with lower transaction fees. Just do it on chain. And when that happens, that's when Ethereum hits 10K. So yeah, the next upgrade is Cancun and Deneb, happening the second half of this year. I assume by the time we get to July, we're going to start hearing August. When we get near August, we're going to start hearing the end of September. When we get to end of September, we're going to start hearing November. And this upgrade will probably happen on November 1st. And why am I saying that? Not being cynical, that's how every other upgrade has happened for Ethereum. It's always, we're thinking about this date. We get to that date, and then all of a sudden, all the devs go onto a call, and they're like, no one said that. And I make videos daily, so I can even show you where in my video all the developers were stating that was going to happen before. That's the Ethereum news, and subsequently also the next upgrade. Yeah. Let's move on. I do hope that you've all had a great video, great day. Do hope you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting again, commenting one more time, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.